What's up, guys? Thought I'd do you a quick exposure video today. Pretty much, sometimes I do this. This is good for putting things away, but I'm going back to where I had my first super bad panic attack and just fucking come here and see what kind of feelings arise. You know what I mean? It's just sometimes you gotta go back to where it all started in order to get it going. So here I am up here where I used to work, where all this first got going. Sorry if my beard looks rough. It's all kind of crazy this morning, but yeah, came up here to see how it goes, look at where it all started, and see if any feelings come up. You know what I mean? Just see if I get any feelings that about, you know, when it first happened. Sometimes though, like I found that people with the DPDR, panic, whatever, run so much from their problems and their panic and the places where they felt it the first time or whatever, because it brings back those bad memories. But those will always be bad memories if you don't replace them with a better one. So that's what I like to preach is, you know, traumas form an extremely strong memory in your brain. They form an extremely strong place to where you know, whenever you go to a place, a lot of times you'll start to feel panic and anxiety even before you even really think about the fact that place happened, you know, that place was a place of former trauma for you, just because your your subconscious recognizes it before your conscious does. But the thing about traumatic memories and stuff, once you process them, you know, you got to process them, you got to deal with them, you can't shun them. Everybody keeps running from panic, running from fear and all that kind of stuff when you're dealing with DP and stuff, because you're like, oh, all I want to do is feel better and away from it, so I'm gonna stay away from it as much as I can, when in reality you need to push yourself towards all those feelings that you're running away from, because feeling those feelings is what's going to set you free. But what I was saying is about the memories, you know, traumatic memories, they're really strong and they're deep rooted, but what you can do to overcome them is you can form a stronger memory. So a lot of times, you know, let's say there's a certain place where, for instance, this place right here, where the worst panic attack I ever had happened. The worst one, the one before I knew what panic attacks were, before I knew what anxiety was and all this kind of stuff, for DP and all that, where they just hit me and it was just sheer terror, because I thought I was having a fucking heart attack or I was going crazy or something like that. And you know, it was super fearful for me, and I feel a little anxiety right now just being here, because it brings thinking about those memories, thinking about that day that it first happened, that it first all became an issue. And but what you can do is you can go back to that place, and if you can overcome that fear and anxiety, like that first time, you know, all this stuff happened to me, like, you know, I had the closed throat feeling, a heavy chest, felt like the room was closing in on me, felt like I couldn't get a breath, felt like I was going to throw up, my heart was beating out of my chest, and I couldn't think logically, my mind was going crazy, like I was just in pure fear mode, you know, pure fight or flight. I didn't even know what that was, man. And the thing was, you know, I had felt that at other times when I was scared in my life, just like any other person, but I had never felt it where it felt like it came out of nowhere. Now, after the fact, you know, I've gone back in my life and written down things and made event catalogs and stuff like that, and I realized that it had been building for a long time, and I kind of pushed it over the edge with really like 45 minutes of sleep the night before, way too much tobacco, way too much nicotine, and way too much caffeine. So I kind of brought it upon myself, and I've cataloged that, and so I knew where it came from. But at the time, I had never felt one of these things attacks, or this fear, craziness that felt like it came out of nowhere. Because I mean, at the time, I know now it didn't, but at the time I was just sitting inside this building right here where I used to work, eating lunch, and all of a sudden, man, I felt like I felt like I couldn't catch my breath. I felt like I couldn't get a breath all the way in, and I was like, what the fuck? And then all of a sudden I started feeling like the room was getting smaller, and all of a sudden I was like, what in the world is going on? And I stood up, and I didn't want to cause a scene, so I kind of like walked out of there because I started freaking out. I didn't know what was going on. But the thing is, I like ran away from it. I kind of ran out of the building. Not ran, but I did it kind of slow because I didn't want anybody to know what was going on. But I got in my truck, and I left and went home, and I called my boss. I was like, hey, I got sick, I threw up, whatever, made up an excuse. But man, but I ran is the thing that solidified it. When you run from something, when your fight or flight kicks in, your body automatically, it solidifies it in your brain that this is a threat. And I ran. I didn't know any better. But the thing is, now you can come back and you can force yourself, literally try to think yourself into a panic attack in that place. But this time, don't run. This time, sit there, handle all the way through it, because now it's just panic. It's just anxiety. It's nothing that can hurt you. It's extremely uncomfortable, maybe a little embarrassing, but it cannot actually harm you. And that's the thing, is you gotta feel it, and you gotta feel it and take all of it to the point where take it all in, and take it all in and feel it and process it, and then be done with it, because that's all it takes. Is you got to get through it though, and it's hard and it sucks, but once you sit there and you don't run from it in the situation, and you let it arise and you let it go away, all of a sudden you've created a new, stronger memory, because instead of a memory of fear and terror and running, you've created a memory of confidence and overcoming something. And it's kind of like overriding that traumatic experience, and it's not easy. I mean, even right now, like I'm sitting here, I feel a little bit of anxiety. Like all the times that I had here, some good, some bad, but that one time sticks out the most. And and during that time of my life, how much stress I was under and everything, I can kind of feel that sitting here. But it's okay, because I'm not there anymore. And you can overwrite those traumatic memories, and that's what I'm trying to do is facing these things head on. Like I'm tired of running. I'm done with running in my life. I'm done with running from my problems. I'm gonna face them. And you got to do the same thing too, because running only solidifies them. Running only keeps them there. But if you process things and deal with things, they're not coming back. The human body wasn't meant to feel terror all the time, to feel cortisol, and stress all the time. It was meant to feel it in the moment of fear and stress, and then go away. But when you're constantly worrying about things, it stays there. So it's better to just deal with things, get them out of the way, and move on, no matter how much they suck. And I'm trying to adopt that in my life, just like anybody else should too. But thanks for listening, guys. I just wanted to share that and give you a little like what I like to do. I'm right here where it all started, and sometimes that's where you got to go back to really figure things out, because a lot of people are like, man, I can't figure out where I need to start or where to go. And start with the things that scare you. Start with the things where it all started. Overcome those situations, then move on from there. The easiest thing I try to reiterate all the time is that you will think yourself to death and drive yourself crazy and make yourself more stressed and more feeling more out of your mind, and more like you can't process things by wearing your brain out, by trying to figure out, where do I need to start? what do I need to do to get better, instead of, you know, people wear themselves out just trying to figure out where they need to start, making it so complicated. As Dylan Mangrum, my buddy on here, says, you know, y'all know him over at Moving Forward. I'll put his the link to his channel in my videos. We collaborate a lot, we talk a lot, and discuss things. Something he likes to say is that you know, people make it too complicated. It's not a complicated thing. You know, just keep it simple. And what I like to say is, just live life, and when you find yourself in a situation that makes you uncomfortable, stop and realize this is progress. If this is making me uncomfortable, this is what I need to be facing in order to get better. Because people are like, oh, I don't know what to do, I don't know where to go, you know, I'm not feeling these fears anymore and all this kind of stuff. Okay, cool. Then just live your life, and don't be looking for things that are going to make you feel bad. Like, just when they arise, view them. Something I kind of coined for myself is you know, being uncomfortable is progress. You know, discomfort is progress. And if you're not comfortable, there's no bigger driving engine in life and more things that make you progress more than being uncomfortable. Whether it's in business, whether it's in the weight room, whether it's in anxiety, whatever it is, when you're uncomfortable, clearly there's something there that you need to progress upon. And if you're uncomfortable in a situation, stop and be like, what lesson am I learning? You know, when you feel that discomfort, you need to recognize, because if you stay in an uncomfortable situation long enough, eventually the human body adapts to everything. It's the greatest adaptation machine that there is in existence ever in the world. No doubt about it, that's a fact. And if you stay in an uncomfortable situation long enough, let me turn my air conditioner down, I didn't realize how loud that was. If you stay in that uncomfortable situation long enough, then your body and your brain adapt to it and become comfortable with it. And so when you're uncomfortable, you need to stop and recognize and be like, this is one of those things that I need to be doing, and stay in it until you're comfortable, and then poop, check that off. That's another thing that's not bothering you anymore. Every time you feel discomfort, take pride in that, and know once this feeling of discomfort goes away, it's yet another thing that you have overcome. And that any kind of uncomfortable situation in your life, especially dealing with DP and anxiety, is a positive one. If you're uncomfortable, that means you're making progress. Discomfort is progress. You can't run away from that discomfort, but when you're uncomfortable, instead of running away from it, be like, yes, this is one of those things. If I can stay here long enough to overcome this, that's yet another thing I'm overcoming. Thanks, guys, for watching the video. I really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe. You know, I'm trying to get more. I'm trying to get my Patreon set up and all that so I can make more videos. I've been so busy lately with work and a few other things I have going on. And I appreciate the support. You know, I'm still doing the DP hotline, all that kind of stuff. Check out those videos if you're interested in that. And like I said, thanks, and please like and subscribe. I'm trying to get more followers, get more things, trying to get the word out, and just trying to help people, man. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. And like I always say, it's your life, only you can live it. Thanks.